Hey guys, it's Dietitian Diana here. Today I want to talk about three common mistakes people make when they have pre or type 2 diabetes and how to avoid them. So, of course, diabetes is a very complex, confusing condition. And with all the information that's available online, it can be even more confusing to understand what to do to treat type 2 diabetes. So today I just want to go over those common mistakes that I see a lot and how to avoid them. So before we dive into it, let's quickly go over how insulin and glucose work in the body. So when we eat carbohydrates, the carbohydrates are broken down into glucose. Now, as you can see here, we have a glucose molecule. So as soon as glucose enters the bloodstream, the pancreas receives a signal and it releases insulin, as you can see here. And in order for the cells to uptake that glucose, insulin needs to attach to the cells. Once insulin attaches to the cell, it acts like a key and it unlocks this channel, and then glucose can get into the cell. So without insulin being there, acting as a key, attaching to this receptor, glucose wouldn't be able to get into the cell. And what happens is it just lingers in your blood. So now let's see what happens when someone has type 2 diabetes, or also known as insulin resistance. So type 2 diabetes is caused by lifestyle factors, and it's typically from lack of exercise and a poor diet. And when we look at poor diet, the research shows that it's typically diets that are very high in animal products. So think of a lot of meat, a lot of cheese, a lot of eggs. These animal products have a lot of unhealthy fats. And then it's also, of course, caused by refined carbs and sugars too. So think of things like those sugary cereals, soda, Gatorade, candy, pastries, things with white flours like white bread. So what happens is when you eat a diet that's high in both of these things, especially again, animal products, it leads to excess fat, not only in the body, but inside your cells. And what happens is this fat in the cells, it starts to accumulate and accumulate. And it starts to interfere with this little receptor right here. See this? So remember how insulin needs to attach here to unlock this channel for glucose? This fat has a direct impact on this receptor, and it starts to interfere with insulin's ability to attach to the receptor and act as that key. And without insulin acting as that key, glucose can't get in. So that's pretty much what happens with type 2 diabetes, which the underlying cause is insulin resistance. Think about it. Your cells resist insulin's actions. They start to resist it. So with that said, one of the common mistakes I see people do is eliminate carbohydrates. So you would think that would work. And in theory, it does. Because if you don't eat any carbohydrates, then none of those carbohydrates are being broken down into glucose. And then you don't even need to deal with glucose being in your blood in the first place. So no glucose, no high levels. But think about it. Is that really solving that underlying issue? Is that solving the insulin resistance? Is that solving the accumulation of all that fat? The answer is no. It's not solving the underlying issue, insulin resistance. So instead of focusing on eliminating all carbohydrates, it's important to switch your focus on the quality of carbohydrates. So you want to focus on high fiber carbohydrates. So not only is fiber so good for our overall health for so many reasons, and I could dedicate a whole presentation just to fiber, but it's really, really important for your diabetes health. It will help stabilize your glucose, and it will help you become less insulin resistant over time. So if you do want to eliminate one thing from your diet, eliminate those sugary foods, eliminate or start reducing the amount of animal proteins you are eating. So start reducing the meat in your diet, start reducing the cheese, start reducing the eggs. And I promise you over time, within a few weeks, you'll start to see your blood levels come down, you will start reducing your insulin resistance, and your cells will be able to uptake the glucose once again. So here are some high fiber carbs you can focus on. We have some avocado, we have raspberries, we have all sorts of beans here. Whole grains are another great example. So quinoa, brown rice, farro. So try to include these foods in your diet. So another common mistake is not moving enough. Being physically active is so important for people with diabetes. So it's obviously so important for overall health, but it can make a huge impact on your health if you have diabetes. So your muscles need glucose for energy, right? That's how they operate. So when you exercise, you're using all your muscles and your body starts needing more and more glucose. So you're able to really bring your blood glucose down to a very healthy range. And then over time, when you consistently do exercise, it decreases that insulin resistance and it helps manage not only diabetes related markers, but it helps blood pressure, it helps your weight, it helps cholesterol, and it helps improve circulation and reduces the risk of nerve damage that can occur with high glucose levels. So really important to get up and get active, and start small. Aim for a step goal. Maybe 10,000 steps is too much to start with. Maybe you start with 5,000, but have a goal and try to reach it every day. And that'll help to really manage your glucose levels. And once you're doing that over time, you can continue to build on it. So maybe today you start with the goal of doing a 5-minute walk, a 5-minute walk after your meal. Then next week, you move up to 10. Then the next week, you move up to 15 and then 20. Don't feel like you need to do everything all at once. You could do it slowly in increments. And as time progresses, you're going to become more insulin sensitive. You're going to see those glucose levels drop. So try that out. And lastly, stressing out. So this is something I see a lot. It's really important to manage your stress levels. So here's why. Cortisol is a hormone that rises in response to stress. So when we're stressed out, our bodies will release this hormone cortisol. And what cortisol does, one of its actions, is to actually release glucose into your bloodstream. So if you're stressed out, cortisol is going to act and it's going to release some of that glucose, and it may cause your levels to be a little higher. And then if you're chronically stressed out, so if you're feeling stressed out over long periods of time, that's going to lead to long-term increased blood sugar levels. So it's really important to get your stress under control. So a few ways you can do this: find some time for yourself. Take a warm bath, read a book. Journaling can really help. Going for a walk. So not only is it going to help with stress, but like we just said, it's a great way to stay active as well. Stretching, of course, exercise and stretching, another really good way. Talking to a friend or family, finding support in others. And lastly, meditating. Meditating is really effective at reducing stress. So, find an app on your smartphone or online. For example, Calm or Headspace are great apps, and start with a 5-minute meditation and build up from there. It can really help with stress. A lot of great research showing its direct effects on cortisol levels. So there you have it. I hope that helped to clarify a few things regarding diabetes. And as always, please, if you have any questions or concerns, reach out to us. We do our best to answer each and every one of you.